Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our special interview session at the Philanthropy Forum, supported by USAID's Partnerships for Giving project. Today, we are honored to have with us Usha Menon, a leading figure in the field of philanthropy and digital fundraising. With an immersive career spanning over 3 decades, Usha has collaborated extensively with nonprofits across Asia, enhancing their strategic and operational capacities through innovative technological solutions. In this session, titled The Philanthropy of the New Era, Is Artificial Intelligence Our Friend?, Usha will share her valuable insights on the integration of artificial intelligence in philanthropy. We will explore how AI is transforming the ways we engage donors and optimize fundraising strategies, and discuss the potential challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Usha, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to uncovering the dynamic intersections of AI and philanthropy and understanding what this means for the future of giving. How are you?
Thank you, Ogman, and hello, everybody. So delighted to be here, and I'm feeling very good. Thank you. Thanks for having me zoom in to your beautiful country.
Can you start by sharing your perspective on the current landscape of digital fundraising and how artificial intelligence is becoming a part of this, let's say, ecosystem?
So I would like to first start by just ensuring that I define so that the context is in place as to what I mean when I say using online or digital technology to raise money for causes. Basically, it's about using the internet in order to mobilize resources. This could be volunteer resources, it could be fundraising, it could be voice. So what the different resources that we mobilize using the internet. Technology is good, but the reason for the fundraising is more important. So let us, at any point in time, not get too excited by the technology that we forget the reason for the fundraising. And so when we use the digital fundraising landscape, it should integrate reach. That's the reason why we are doing what we're doing, using the digital platform to increase, to scale up our reach, to increase and enhance our engagement with our supporters, with our friends, with our donors, with our volunteers. We are also using it to amplify. So once we have engaged, hopefully some among them would say, oh, I want to lend my voice to what I think is exciting, a petition I have signed or a donation I have made. I'm going to amplify this cause to my network. And then, of course, to mobilize support, whether we are asking a call for action, be it, as I mentioned, signing a petition or providing time or influence. And then, of course, there has to be the conversion, because you can provide the call for action, but you have to have the skills to ensure that call for action actually translates into a conversion, be it a signature, be it $1. Right. And then, of course, ensuring that the enhancement of that relationship, the retention of that relationship carries on. So the online fundraising platforms and the technology behind it is used for these purposes. And the technology helps us to do it faster, at scale, and so on.
In a way, you tackled my second question. You gave an intro for it. So in what ways do you see artificial intelligence, AI, transforming the strategies of philanthropic organizations, particularly in enhancing donor engagement and, let's say, operational efficiency?
Yes. So the way I see it is there is a simple use of AI, and we can have the complex use of AI. And most of us, most countries in the world, to a large extent, especially the standalone charities, or even small, medium enterprises, whichever the organization is, can easily use the simple artificial intelligence. For example, for content creation, the use of ChatGPT to figure out what should be the header, the subject for a particular email. It could be presentation, making sure, and now, the making of reels, making of videos. There is so much you could do with a telephone, a mobile phone, a smartphone, whatever we call it in your neck of the woods. It can be done. So that's AI. Then there is the administration part of it, where you can track certain, you can have certain no code, low code, whatever the case may be. You can code certain things into your receipting so that it is capturing certain trends that within the organization you can make strategic decisions on. And of course, the social media, be it Meta, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, or YouTube, different platforms that you can use in order to create content that uses artificial intelligence to enhance what you would have input without the technology available. For the complex, of course, you can do predictive modeling. If you have good data, if you're able to capture good data, there are AI tools that can do modeling. And then, of course, you have supporter insights that you could use. Once you have a database, again, it's about where, you could do geolocation, right? Where, in which part of a particular city is the biggest cluster of your donors. Once you know that, and if you're going to do a road show, you're going to have a camp, you would want to do it in that part of the city because that's where many of your supporters come from. Then you have chatbots, you have other avatars that you can use, digital assistants that you can use. So those will be the more complex AI tools that you can think, and it's being used.
I mean, it's very logical to ask a question regarding all of these that you mentioned, but what are some of the biggest challenges, or maybe even we can say ethical considerations, that organizations should be aware of when integrating AI into their philanthropic efforts and practices?
Yeah, for me, purpose, vision, and values is the core of any fundraising. And then the AI augments our human potential. It shouldn't be that the AI drives it and you have no control and you have lost your own values. So I have found that when I work with organizations using AI, they have to start thinking of their processes. They have to start thinking of their donor journey. They have to start thinking about the beneficiary impact. And once they have got all that information, they can use AI to make it to scale, make it more effective, make it more efficient, but ensuring our values and visions and the purpose for which we do the fundraising is core to any AI decision or technology decision we make is most important. One of the work that I did with one of the collaborators, the European Council for Nonprofit Law, ECNL, who is in the conference with you as collaborator. I had the opportunity to work with them. I have worked with them on many instances, one of which was on good practices in digital fundraising. ECNL has a document on that to think through some of the ethics of what a CSO or an organization should think of when it comes to ethical practices. One is, of course, being very clear about and explaining the communications to the donor as to why you're doing certain, why you're capturing certain data, what process are you using for capturing the data, how will that data later be utilized, so that they give it in a free, unambiguous manner with consent. And very often you say, oh, nobody's going to do that. That's not true. If you get them motivated by your cause, they're willing to go the mile for ensuring that the cause, the objective is met. For them, they don't mind sharing with you information which they believe in. But that's where trust comes in, like in any ethical conversation. We, as the nonprofit sector, the CSOs, trust has been a huge commodity that we have with our supporters. We have to ensure that's enhanced so that they give the consent freely and without any ambiguity of how you will be using, we as the nonprofit sector will be using it. So the second one is in terms of the scope of the data collected. The third one is storage limitations. You know, you are very clear, you have a very clear, the other one is the use of algorithms. You know, being again, when algorithm-based systems are being used, to be open about it. So we have to make sure that we are open, that we are using certain algorithms, but we don't have to start splitting hair by saying, oh, should we tell them, should we? I mean, if you actually got ChatGPT to write your email and then you use human intervention to make it appropriate, so you don't need to say, oh, this email is written by ChatGPT, just like we wouldn't say this budget is written by Microsoft on Microsoft Excel. So that's how I see it. We need to be honest, we need to be authentic, we need to be transparent, and ensure the trust is in place. Then the technology becomes an enhancement of our human potential.
I had one part with two questions, but now I will try to put them together. So let's say that AI will evolve within the philanthropy sector. And what should organizations do now to prepare for these changes? And maybe here you can incorporate some, let's say, examples or case studies where AI has effectively boosted philanthropic initiatives and the lessons that can be learned from this.
I'm going to give you some which I personally have been engaged in, involved in, and developed. Some that are examples elsewhere. So I would start with one example of how you use social media. Of course, when COVID hit around the world, it was out of need that we had to use online tools. The fact that I can come to North Macedonia via Zoom today, if it was about 5-8 years back, you would really have had to fly me over. I'd love to, but we still get the work done. And that's possible because of because people were thrust into using technology. So one of the things that, because of COVID, it started, but now continues, is live streaming. One example I have out of here in Singapore is the chairman of one of the charities who wanted to celebrate his 78th birthday. But he's quite an agile young 78-year-old, and he decided to do 78 push-ups live on Facebook Live. The organization wrote to everybody on their database that our chairman is going to try and raise funds. So for every push-up he manages to clear, will you make a donation? So the donation could be as little as, a small $1 to some who gave $100. It doesn't matter. So he started doing his push-ups. And he had a friend along with him who is an exceptional, like you, an exceptional TV broadcaster. So he kept the excitement going, because doing push-ups, so he kept the excitement going. And then he cleared the 78 push-ups. And in fact, by the end of the 1.5 hour of live streaming, they had raised over $100,000. It was a crowdsourced live stream. So it was use of Facebook Live. It was use of an influencer, like somebody who is very good at keeping the excitement going. It was, so influencer, you could call it. It was use of a crowdsourcing portal where people could do the action.
So right in a moment, To be donating right at the moment on a call to action
That's
button.
right. Yeah. So it's live streamed, so you can actually see that, oh, he's nearly 50,000. Oh, he's nearly 70,000. Oh, let's go. Let's give him more, you know. And it went over 100,000, 119,000, if I'm not wrong. So I have done a study on what's hampering the utilization of friends. There are three things that come up. One is unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. You know, so you don't know what you don't know, and hence anything you don't know, you are afraid of. The second is conscious incompetence. You know there is ChatGPT, you know there is Facebook Live, you know, but you know, incompetence because you don't know how to use it. And that only takes a couple of days for you to get over that. And then, of course, conscious competence, where you know and you know how to use it, and those who are doing it right. And over time, and I hope that we don't come to that point where it becomes unconscious competence, where we just leave it to the AI, and you know, and that's where your messaging may go wrong because nobody's checking, your data may be compromised because nobody's checking. You don't want to go to that stage. So I hope we will go to the conscious competence stage and then keep learning as we go along. So I hope that kind of gives you some ideas of, and then of course, I understand there are corporates in the audience too. This platform would be a brilliant opportunity for collaboration. There may be people who totally know, you know, they are in the conscious competence stage, who could mentor a CSO on becoming more conscious and building their competence. They could, in the past, when you did gala dinners, you would ask hotels, can you give us space to hold the, you know, the ball? Now you may want to ask a tech organization or a financial organization. In fact, Balkans, you know, there is a rise in the number of high net worth people, and this whole financial sector, the corporate sector, is putting in a lot of effort on understanding this H&I sector because, you know, private banking, you know, all of that is a big industry.
Usha, I know that I took much more of your time that we agreed upon, but for the end, maybe briefly, because everything you said so far in this last answer was the message that I wanted you to leave our and attendees at the forum with, but maybe some brief message just to conclude the interview.
So I really hope the question, is AI our friend? Like any friendship, it's what we make of it. If we have trust, if we could ensure there is trust, if we have communications and engagement, then highly likely the friendship will last. If we don't have trust, we don't engage, the friendship will not be as good or maybe bad. So what we make of it is really the human potential that we have of how best we use digital fundraising and you know, augmented reality, AI, all of that into artificial intelligence, into the work we do in philanthropy and fundraising. So for that, we need to have a culture that believes in keeping with the times, not just at the fundraising department level, but across the organization, the board, the management team, the program teams, as well as the communications and fundraising and the finance team. So you need that culture across the organization to say, we're going to make the best use of this potential to enhance our human potential, to meet the causes for which we have set ourselves up for. So for me, that would be my biggest message. I started with mindset, and now I would like to end with culture. Because once we have those two building blocks in place, then finding the right people, finding the right collaborators, and the implementation of it becomes a lot easier.
Usha, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us to do this. Well, in a way, it was a little bit of a workshop, so people can take a lot of knowledge out of this, or maybe ideas, so they can use them in their work, in their fields.
Yeah, and it was my pleasure, and thanks for the opportunity to reach out to all the valiant fundraisers in your neck of the woods. So from Asia to the Balkans, all the best. Go forth and raise.
Of course. Thank you very much.